what's up, everybody? Steve Schwartz here from LSAT Unplugged. I got a lot of questions from everybody after yesterday's video about the proposed ABA revision to allow law schools to stop requiring standardized tests for law school admissions. And so I wanted to share some more in-depth thoughts than I had time to share yesterday about the change in response to your questions. But first, I just wanted to ask if you could please do me a favor. If you find these sorts of videos helpful, please like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps with the algorithm, helping these videos get out to helping more people. Really appreciate your support. Thank you. So anyway, what does this actually mean for you? What does this proposed ABA committee revision mean for law school applicants? Well, there are a couple of steps that must happen first before this actually becomes impactful. First, the proposed revision by that strategic review committee then needs to be approved by the ABA at large. Then, once that happens, it's still up to individual law schools to set their own admissions policies about whether they will choose to still require the LSAT or another exam like the GRE or not. If we look at what's happened with other areas like medical school admissions, business school admissions, for example, let's look at those. So just as the ABA, the American Bar Association, is the accrediting body for law school admissions, medical schools and business schools have their own accrediting bodies as well that set requirements for them. And so med schools do not need to require that their students take the MCAT. Business schools do not need to require that their applicants take the GMAT or the GRE. However, many of them still do require a standardized test for admissions. Harvard Medical School, for example, does still require the MCAT. So it's unclear whether law schools would stop requiring that their applicants take the LSAT or the GRE, even if they could eliminate that requirement for their applicants. My guess is that actually, at least at the start, it would be a lot of the lower ranked schools who typically have a hard time getting the number of applicants they'd like. Those lower ranked schools, they would be the first ones to stop requiring that their applicants take an exam like the LSAT or like the GRE. Now, the impact of eliminating that standardized test requirement is somewhat mixed. At first glance, it might seem to level the playing field, but whether it actually does or to what extent is not entirely clear. On the one hand, removing that barrier allows people who wouldn't do well on the LSAT a much better shot at getting into law school. Obviously, as I said before, a 2-hour multiple choice exam is obviously very different from what you will actually do in the legal profession. It's an artificial, constrained environment, multiple choice, strictly timed, not necessarily what it takes to become a successful attorney, which may involve a lot more writing, may involve a bit more showmanship if you're going to be a courtroom attorney, a trial lawyer trying cases, or if you're more in the generating business side of things. Obviously, people skills and networking become a lot more important. On the other hand, though, people with the resources that have currently been devoting money to standardized test prep to give themselves a boost would probably still spend that money to give themselves a boost in whatever other area then becomes relatively more important. Right now, LSAT is the #1 factor for admissions, GPA is #2. So those folks might now spend more money to boost their GPA or to boost soft application factors like application essays or developing their resumes. So hiring fancy admission consultants to help them craft the perfect story, help them refine that essay or essays draft after draft after draft, helping them develop unique and cool extracurricular activities they could put on their resumes. If you have a consultant to help you craft that all starting from freshman year of college all the way through to senior year, you can have an incredible application that wows admission officers. Those with fewer resources to devote might be at a relative disadvantage. Additionally, those who took easy majors in undergrad with a lot of grade inflation would have a significant advantage over those who struggled in college, whether it was by taking tougher majors that are less forgiving, going to schools that are not as big on grade inflation, or those who worked through college, those who had family obligations, those who had personal matters or emergencies that might have taken their focus away from school. Those folks would be at a significant disadvantage because they would have lower grades than they otherwise would have gotten, and they would not have the opportunity to make up for it by outperforming their GPA with a higher LSAT score. Anyway, many schools will likely take a wait and see approach. They're incredibly risk averse, especially when it comes to jeopardizing their US news rankings. And it's not totally clear how US News would adjust the rankings considering a change to a standardized test requirement. Many schools will also look at what the first movers do and when the first movers make their moves and what impact that has on them in the rankings. When I say first movers here, I mean the schools that drop a standardized test requirement first, assuming if and when the ABA approves that committee's recommendation to remove the standardized test requirement. Bottom line, anyway, is that none of this is directly relevant to anyone applying to law school now or in the very near future. Bureaucracies typically move quite slowly, and I expect that no law schools are likely to change their admission policies for anyone applying to law school this fall, even if they could. So if you're applying to law school this fall, keep studying for the LSAT. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. Again, if you found this video helpful, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It really helps get the word out, really helps with that YouTube algorithm. I appreciate your support, and I will keep you posted on updates as I learn of them. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.